What up, what up, what up? It's your boy, Art of Dialogue. I got a special guest on the line. So if you don't mind, introduce yourself to the people.
I'm Lemika Early, the niece of Frank Alexander. I usually don't talk much about, my situation. Everybody pretty much know me from being out and hanging out with Pac in '96. Everybody know the story or whatever that they think they know, but they have no idea, and that's what we about to get into right now.
So before we get into you meeting Tupac, let the people know about your accident and what led to you being in a wheelchair.
Okay, if anybody know me, they know I'm from Chicago. So back then, I was actually in an accident when I was in high school. It was I remember the exact date, May 21st, 1995. I was a little ahead of my time, running the streets, doing stuff that I had no business doing, and I was at a place at the wrong place at the wrong time, and I ended up paying for it at the end, and that's how that happened. My what happened was I was my mother and my step pop, Big Will. They was going somewhere where I was supposed to go. They was out south going to visit my grandma, and she didn't want to drop me off where I wanted to go. So I was like, okay, bet I'm gonna stay at home at the crib. So I called myself being at home at the crib. It was me and my sister. I had got a call from one of my girls, and I usually go with her. It was a Saturday. It was nice outside. It was a Saturday in May in Chicago. So one of my girls had gave me a call and was like she was going to do some laundry, and I usually go to the laundromat with her, but it's just about to be summertime in the chat. So I'm like, okay, now I'm a I'm going with my mom. I lied. I was like, no, I'm going with my mom right now. I'll holler at you when I get back. So moving fast forward, I end up going to one of my ex's crib, and we was all over there chilling, smoking a little weed or whatever. And my girl ended up calling over there and was like, what, asking what they was doing because this was our little hangout. And they was like, oh, your girl on your way over here or whatever. And I'm just like, who? And when they said her name, I was like, dang, I just told her that I wasn't here. And she gonna be like, man, you could have went to the laundromat with me or whatever like that. So I was like, well, I'll be back, y'all. I went next door because it's, on the block, everybody kind of lives next to each other, whatever. I went next door to one of my friend's house, and I was kicking it with her. I was like, okay, where you about to? She was about to leave somewhere with my ex cousin. I really didn't know my ex cousin like that. I didn't really hang with her like that. She was older. She was like 21, and mind you, I wasn't nothing but 14. And she was like, they about to go to the flea market. So I was like, all right, bet. I'm going to get in the car with y'all and go with you because I knew my girl was on the way over here. One of my friends was on her way over there. And I lied and told her I wasn't around. So to try to kill some time, I end up in this car with two people. I was the youngest. I was in the back seat. We was on our way to the flea market, and we just never made it there. I remember I put my tape in, back then in '96 we had the tape cassette. We didn't have all the CDs and everything. So I put my tape in and of Mary J. Blige and Method Man, All That I Need to Get By. That was playing on the radio. So the two girls in the front, they was kind of arguing a little bit. The passenger, I knew the passenger, not the driver. The passenger was like, hey, slow down. I'm in the back. I was like, okay, not really paying attention, but I was singing my little song and shit. And the girl was like, oh, I know how to drive. Next thing you know, I'm looking like, okay, you see all these cars. And then next thing you know, all I see is blue sky. And I'm looking like, what the fuck? So I leaned forward and was like, damn. We went over like a viaduct. We was on the expressway, so we went over the viaduct. So we actually went all across the whole expressway, the opposite direction of what we was driving. And we ended up in these, on top of these trees. So we in the tree, the car, we didn't even go all the way down yet. We in the tree, the car kind of like rocking. I start crying. I lit me up a cigarette. In my head, I'm thinking like, damn, we finna die. So the passenger's like, all right, y'all, just be still. Whatever you do, don't move the car. It seemed like it had to been nothing but probably 60 seconds, maybe a minute or whatever, but it just seemed like forever. And when she said that, we was still for a second, and then the driver was like, "Fuck this! I'm about to get out this car." And when she did that, woke up, boom! It was a month later. I was in a coma for a month, and was told that I was in a car accident. And when I got out, at first, I guess they was telling my mama to turn off the machines because I'd just be a vegetable. Because the longer that you in a coma, the more that you lose. So they had me on I got scalped, like all my hair was gone. I had over 150 stitches. I looked like Hellraiser by the head and stuff. I was real swollen. I was on a hospital bed, that rotating bed. I had these like screwed in the side of my head and stuff. I remember that. And they were saying like, if she wake up, you have to take the hospital bed home. And I was paralyzed from neck down at first, and that's what a lot of people don't know. So, I was paralyzed from neck down at first, and I couldn't talk, I couldn't do nothing. I had to, like, people, when I woke up out my coma, I was in and out. When I woke up out my coma, they was like, "Yo, I thought I could, I thought I could talk, but I really couldn't do." When they played the video of me talking, I was sounding real scratchy, like couldn't understand. So I couldn't write or anything because my hands and stuff, didn't work. My arms and stuff didn't work because at first I was paralyzed from the neck down. I broke my neck, my collarbones, I broke my neck, my collarbones, fractured my spine, and like my pelvis. So they told me, and I couldn't remember. The first person I seen, I guess, was my mom, but I didn't even know who she was. I knew I'd seen her before, but I didn't have the knowledge to be like, dang, that's my mother. You know what I mean? So I was, in and out a coma for a little while. But like, yeah, when I first got up, I had to relearn everything. I ended up staying in the hospital I stayed in the hospital from May to September. I had to be in the hospital from May to September. The doctor told me I'd never walk again. I'd never be able to feed myself, talk, have kids. And that's going to be an interesting subject that you will find out later in life about me. But yeah, they told me all the stuff that I'd never be able to do. And everybody was getting ready to take me home for with a hospital bed and everything for me to rotate. So it was really tragic at first because I was just like, damn, like, I know they didn't want to let me go. I know they didn't want to let me go, but in my head I was thinking like, dang, like how independent I was and the way I was moving and the life I was living. It was like, why would y'all let me stay like this? Like keep me alive like this? If the doctor wanted you to turn off the machines, that's what they wanted them to do. They wanted her to turn off the machines because they was like, there's no need because she's gonna be a vegetable. And I was just thinking in my head like, y'all should have turned off the machines because I don't think I'm gonna be able to live like this. You know what I mean? And that's how it happened when it first happened. But I gotta remember, it was this one nurse named Patrick. He was I don't know how to say it politically correct. I guess I could just say he was gay, or whatever. I don't want to offend nobody, but he was a gay dude. And the funny thing about him is I remember him, and I really didn't remember too much in and out my coma, but I just want to, I really thank him because one thing about this man, he used to come in I remember he used to wear this pink shirt. He was an African American, he was bald head. He used to wear this pink shirt, green button up shirt or whatever all the time. And he'd come in the room and he'd tell me, even though you don't see it, vision, make yourself work. Put it in your mind that you're moving your hand, that you're moving your arm. He'll rub my legs. Even when he was off work, he just stayed in there with me and just was like working with me for some reason. And it was just amazing to me because when you in a coma like that, and when you on all that medicine, I was on so much medicine, I was so high, you don't really have control of what you say or what you do. So I heard that I was in and out and I was being very mean to him and calling him all types of stuff like faggots and why you in here, don't touch me, you got AIDS, saying very mean things. And my mama was asking the nurse and the doctor and them like, why is she talking like that? Does she know? And they's like, well, she don't know what she's saying. She don't know what she's saying because she's so drugged up. And this is the mean things that I was saying to him. And later on, I had to apologize to him once I got my strength back and stuff. Because no matter what I said in and out that coma, he understood and he seen something in me to to be by my side and push me to the limit that to this day that I'm nothing. I didn't even go home in a hospital bed when I left in September because it was like mind over matter. You know what I'm saying? And he installed that to me from the very beginning. Like, look, even if you don't get everything back, and you just might, but even if you're still young, your bones still healing and everything like that, even if you don't get everything back, don't let the doctor tell you what you're not going to be able to do and work. Even if you don't see it, and just keep visioning and imagining and keep making yourself move. And by me doing that, I remember the first thing I was able to move was my right hand, my right arm, the bottom of it, the bottom of my forearm. And I remember I was laying in the bed and I was like, oh, the nurse and them it came and my mom and them came and visited me. It was a lot. I had so many visitors coming to the hospital that they literally had to like shut the hospital down and stuff because it was too crowded. But yeah, I had so many visitors come to the hospital. But I remember my mom and my friends coming to the hospital, and I was like, "Look what I could do, y'all! I'm moving my arm. I'm moving my arm." So the doctors were like, "Oh no, that's just a spasm. She's not controlling that. That's just a spasm." Because they was like, "Look, she's moving her hand. She's moving her arm." And he's like, "No, that's just a spasm. She's not doing that. She's not doing that." And I was like, "Yes, I am." And so my mom kept saying, "Well, do it again, do it again." And every time she said, "Do it again," I was able to do it. And I remember Patrick, the nurse, he was like, "That's her. That's her moving. That's not a spasm. That's her moving." And just keep on doing that. And then I stick by that to this day. And I've been in the wheelchair for 25 years now. May 21st, May 25 years that I've been in the wheelchair. And to this day, I'm still not able to walk. But I still believe before I leave this earth that I will be able to because more and more things come back for me because I keep it in my head, like, just keep pushing, and eventually it's going to come back or whatever. So that's how I was when I was in my, when I first got in my wheelchair. And then out of doing rehab, I was in the rehab and just working and being strong up in there and having the good support system that I had when I end up, leaving the hospital, when I ended up leaving the hospital and was able to get home in September, I had a halo on. I had to wear a halo for 6 months. If those of you who don't know what a halo is, it's like a thing to stabilize your neck. And it's like the screws go from the front of your head to the back of your head, and it goes all the way down to the bottom of your waist. Like I literally had to roll around with like a wrench, in the inside of me, and then it was like because it was all metal, and it's like sheepskin in the inside of this metal. And the crazy thing was, like back in the day, that's all they had to separate the metal and the skin, and it was the sheepskin that they had in there. And I was allergic to the sheepskin, and imagine that because you can't take this on and off, right? And I was allergic to the sheepskin, so imagine being broken up, wearing metal. Got to tighten your screws in your head so it won't be loose, and then having an allergic reaction because you got the sheepskin that you're allergic to on you for a whole like 6 months. You know what I mean? I'm a soldier, and I think that's why I'm able to do as strong how I am strong as I am now. Because man, when I tell you, I can overcome anything, and that's something that you're going to learn about me too in time. And so, with that being said, though, I end up going home with an electric chair. I was able to sit up. One of my arms still didn't work, but my other ones did. The first thing I was able to learn how to do was dial the phone because I was dialing the phone with my mouth at first. I was always calling for somebody to come up there or see me, I mean, I was always on the phone with my mom or just family or whatever when people wasn't there because I had to live there for all that time. Um, I remember I had a roommate, Carmela. I was on the pediatric floor. I was at the RIC downtown in Chicago, the Rehabilitation Institute of Chicago, Northwestern downtown. I stayed up in there, but I ended up being a real positive influencer on that floor because it was children that came on there. I remember my roommate, Carmela. She was a 12-year-old girl who got shot or whatever, and she was real depressed, and they put me in the room with her, and I ended up helping her, do better with stuff. Because one thing about it, like from the gate, like once I start getting in my mind, okay, this not gonna be my life. Regardless of the fact, like, okay, I can't walk. I'm not gonna sit there and be down on myself, like, oh, I can't walk, so my life is over. I had the mentality was like, oh, I can't walk. So I just got to figure out how I'm going to live like this. You know what I mean? After a while, that depression left real quick. Once I seen myself being able to change and get up out that bed and things like that and scoot over and do things and whatever. So me and Carmela, um, I was the first person who made her smile, and then we got so cool and end up learning the hospital stuff. Too. We end up being able to sneak out the floors and things like that with that. I remember I broke my foot in the hospital because we sitting up there sneaking outside, sneaking back in the elevators, going outside and stuff for so long. We was like, all right, we got it, we out of here. So yeah, we was a little trouble on the 14th floor up in there, a little troublemakers up in there, but it was all good or whatever. I made the best of it, and I ended up going home and was able to go home in that wheelchair. And a funny story about that, I got the day that I left the hospital, I was so excited because I had my chair um, custom made to me and everything. I had my chair, I had the blue and black, we gangsters. I'm from where we at, so I had my chair blue and black, representing my set, whatever, woo, woo, woo. So, it was funny when I left, they was putting me in the car, and do you know my wheelchair got stolen. My wheelchair got stolen the day that I was leaving the hospital. And that was crazy. I was like, man, they done shot down and stole my chair. You know what I mean? So I had to get it. I had to get a loaner chair to get home, to go home and get everything all recustom made and everything, this and this and this and that. But yeah, I was like, I'm from a place where, you know what I mean? They don't even care. They stole the wheelchair. I was like, damn, that was bogus, but I overcame that too. But yeah, and here I am.
Right. So with that being said, we fast forward. Your uncle Frank Alexander, he told a story about how you was in the Make a Wish program, and your wish was pretty much to meet Janet Jackson, but for whatever reason that didn't go through. So you ended up meeting Tupac, and they flew you out to L.A. and so on, so on. So with that being said, just give me a detailed play-by-play account of everything that happened.
Okay, that story is true to a certain extent. So, okay, this how it was. Yeah. So when you being on the pediatric floor, you do get your little wish and stuff. And I'm not gonna lie, I was a cold hard Janet Jackson friend. I used to thought I was her. Like every dance, every move, everything I knew. So this what happened with that. So my wish was to meet Janet Jackson. So initially we supposed to have met Janet Jackson. Me, I'm the second oldest of four kids. So I had a younger brother, a younger sister, and then and who we was, we was like, you know what I'm saying, out there, who we was, we used to have like people in and out of our house or whatever, sometimes with us, staying with us, and this, and that we was always trying to help out somebody or whatever. But I was like, when we was meeting Janet Jackson, we initially supposed to went to California to meet her. And that was dope because that's where we wanted to go. We wanted to go to LA because by me having my little brother, sisters and stuff, and then even myself, I wanted to go to Disneyland. We ain't never been to no Disneyland, Disney World and stuff. That stuff that we heard about, nobody never really was like, okay, we're gonna go up there. So I was like, all right, we can do California because there's so much stuff to do. We can knock it out the box. My uncle, I had an uncle that already lived up there. You know, my Uncle Frank, that's my mom's brother. He's my blood uncle, y'all. This ain't no, you know how people be claiming relatives and it's not really relatives, it's the blood right here. So, you know, I don't have to lie about nothing. Um, so we already had him up there, so we already planned and was like, yo, when we come up there, we come and see you, whatever, we'll have to bam, we're gonna go to Disney World or whatever, and we're gonna stay there for a while. We'll stay up there for a couple of weeks. You know what I'm saying? Because we had our own money too. You know what I mean? It wasn't a make a wish. We paid for a lot of our stuff too. My uncle ain't fly me up there. You know what I mean? Like he did not pay for us to fly up there. You know what I mean? So let's make that clear. So because this was like you know, everybody got it out there like it was a whole thing to my uncle, this hero saver. He was so cool. Don't get me wrong. Like it was because of him that I did meet Pop, but it's a little twist with that too, you know. So at the last minute, so we already bought like summer clothes, got our hotel for, you know, because the Made a Wish they was paying for like the 2 days. You know what I'm saying? They was paying for like 2 days up there, and or whatever. But we paid for, you know, we had the rest. We paid for the rest. Like, all right, don't trip. We got it because when we go up there, we gonna just chill out. This is our family vacation. We just gonna make it. We even had a couple of friends come with us. You know what I'm saying? To kick it. So at the last minute, you know, we had got a call from the Make a Wish, and they was like, yeah, about that trip to Los Angeles or whatever, you still to be able to see Janet Jackson, but at the same time, like, you're not going to be able to come to California. And we just like, what? Why we can't come to California? What's going on? You know what I'm saying? So they was like, oh yeah, she wants to meet, she could meet you, but it'd have to be in New York. So instantly, we all up in there, you know, being from where we from. It's like, man, don't nobody want to go to New York. Shit, New York like a dirty ass West Side. I ain't got time for that. No diss to nobody in New York. I love New York, all right, y'all? So no diss to nobody in New York. But I'm just saying, coming from a city to a city that was not in the plan. New York ain't got no Disneyland. You know what I mean? And stuff like that. They got the same shit we do. So we was like, well, we don't really want to go there. We already bought everything and the weather and stuff, whatever. And we was like, what's in New York to do? So they was like, oh, well, you can see the Statue of Liberty and stuff like that. And I'm like, Statue of Liberty? Nobody wants to see no Statue of Liberty or whatever. So I was like, they was like, well, you need to let us know what you want to do, because you guys could just, and we was like, so I was like, so me being who I am, I be wanting to know the reason. I was like, well, maybe it's a legitimate reason. She probably has some work, something to do, or whatever. So the representative that called us was like, well, she got her, she's going out there because she's going to get her favorite piece of candy or something like that. It was something real petty to that level, something about some candy, and I was just like, you got to be kidding me, right? I was like, so we got to alter our whole trip and and go to New York over some food. You know what I'm saying? Like, this was already planned in advance. You know what I'm saying? Don't nobody got it like that to be switching. Mind you, you know what I'm saying? We already bought our tickets for the plane ride back and everything. You know what I'm saying? For the return and everything. You know, that shit costs when you got to switch and change things and stuff like that. So I was like, man, all right, when can we let you know? So we was like, can we let you know whatever? So we was debating about that. We was going to just vote and see what was up. So my mom ended up calling her brother. She ended up calling Frank. She ended up calling my Uncle Frank. And it was like, we call him Uncle Frankie. You know, everybody know him as Frank. You know what I'm saying? Everybody seen the little joke when Pac was like, oh, you know, Frankie go to Hollywood. You know, Frankie, the little extra eye, make it a little extra sexy. He was clowning my Uncle Frankie because that's for him to be so big and who he was. You know what I mean? So buff and stuff. And to have Frankie, us calling him Frankie, kind of minimized the, you know, Frank is a more stronger name. So that was funny or whatever. But yeah. So my mom ended up calling my Uncle Frankie and was like, man, yo, I don't know if we're going to be able to come up there because Lemika trying to see Janet Jackson and they talking about going to New York. And so, you know, Frankie was like, well, why, you know, New York or whatever. So he was like, well, just let me know if y'all come, you know what I'm saying? If y'all come, you know, up here, I still could make some arrangements. Y'all could see Pac or whatever, still kick it with me because I'll be bodyguarding for him or whatever. That. So we was like, okay, cool. So now this was probably around, yeah, because we went up there in June. So this was around like the beginning of May. So, and that we had told them. So that's why I said that's how last minute it was. Like this was literally like a month before we were supposed to be up there that everything is getting all changed. So was like, all right, cool. So like hung up the phone. She hung up the phone with him. I say about it was so we ended up that was the beginning of May. May 21st was my accident. So now I'm coming up a year of my accident. This was a year of my accident. So the year of my accident, don't get me wrong, I was kind of down because reality kind of hit. Because you got to remember, I said that I wasn't able to do this, I wasn't able to do that as far as what the doctor said I wasn't able to do. And every day I'm getting something back, I'm getting something back. So in my head, I'm like, okay, my leg's gonna be next, my leg's gonna be next. So when that year hit, it was like, damn, it was a reality check. Like, damn, I've been in the chair for a whole year. I've been in the wheelchair for a whole year. So I really wasn't feeling that a little bit. I had my ups and downs at the time because everything was still fresh. I was a little depressed on my year coming up, the day of my year thing. I didn't really want to be bothered with nobody. I didn't want to go outside or nothing. So I was chilling in the crib when I was in my room and I was writing. I like to write, I was writing some poems and stuff. It was I used to like to write a lot of I used to call it free writing and stuff because I had a lot of things going on in my mind and I didn't like to really vent and talk to too many people because that's just how I am. So I would just write everything down and write poems and stuff. It was just a way of relieving myself, a little hobby that I got. So as I was writing and stuff, my phone had rang and my mom was like, Mika, you know what I'm saying? Somebody want to talk to you. So I was like, no, I don't feel like talking to nobody. You know what I'm saying? I'm cool. I'm up in here writing and stuff. I'm chilling. You know what I mean? And then she's like, well, Mika, nah, I think you need to get on the phone. I'm like, well, who is it? And she's smiling from ear to ear or something like it was an angel itself. But I'm just like, well, who is it? She's like, well, why don't you come and get the phone? She said, you don't want to talk to this person. So I'm just like, all right, whatever. Now I'm getting irritated. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, okay, give me the phone. So I get on the phone and he was like, hello? And I was like, hello? I was like, who is? And he's like, this Tupac. And I was like, who? And he was like, this Tupac, this Pac. And I was like, Tupac? And I was like, I'm thinking somebody playing a joke. So I'm like, nah, for real. I'm like, who this for real? Or whatever. He was like, this Tupac Shakur. And I was like, you lying. I was like, this, because now I'm hearing the voice. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just like, damn, this motherfucker do sound like Pac. I don't know nobody that sound like Pac for real. So I'm like, hello? I'm like, okay. I'm like, so now I'm smiling. I'm geek, but I'm trying not to let him know, like, what the hell? What you calling me for? So I'm just like, okay, hi, how you doing? Hey, you said you believe me? He was like, yeah. I was like, yeah. I said, you sound like Pac. I said, this Pac for real? You like this Pac? I said, all right, you sound like Pac. He's like, yeah, so what's up? He's like, what you doing? And I was just like, nothing, chilling. I'm like, and now I'm talking on the phone with you. Shoot. So now I'm smiling. So whatever down I was feeling and stuff, that shit was out the window instantly. Once I caught the voice. So he's like, the conversation, I ain't gonna go into too much detail, but he was just like, yeah, I hear that, it's your, it's your year anniversary, and as a matter of fact, we're gonna have something coming in the mail today for you, whatever. Ooh. So I was just like, oh, okay, and he was like, yeah, I heard, he said, your uncle was telling me about, what happened with, that y'all was supposed to be coming out here, and, he let us know that, that his, that his niece and stuff was in a car accident and that you was coming out here and whatever like that. And when y'all come out here, probably, y'all was going to chill. And he let me know what happened with, the situation with Janet Jackson. So I was like, oh, okay. And I was like, yeah. So he said, so what happened? So I explained to him, I was like, yo, we supposed to be, I was like, we was coming up there, but she ended up changing. They talking about she needed a piece of candy or something. And then he said what he said, but I ain't gonna say everything he said. Y'all have to read that. But he said what he said, and he was just like, going fast forward. He said what he said about her, but going fast forward, he was like, but look, if you gonna understand, come to California. Y'all got y'all tickets, you got your clothes, you got everything like that already. You said, man, you will have way more fun up here. If you go with Janet Jackson, you probably gonna see her for like maybe 20 minutes, do a meet and greet. Probably won't even have dinner or nothing, and then you got to go on about your way. You come up here, you call me, I'm coming. And I'm just like, stop playing. And he's like, yeah. He said, we're going to kick it. We can kick it. He said, I got a few projects. He said, how long y'all going to be up here for? And I was like, I said, so for right now, the plan, we're going to be up there for a couple of weeks. So he was like, yeah, I bet. Come up here. I'll show y'all a good time. I got a few things that I got planned, you know what I'm saying, already that in the making. He's like, I'm always working or whatever, but you always welcome. I got a few projects that I'm working on. You can come on set. You can come studio. You can come wherever you at. You call me, whatever, you know what I'm saying? Call the studio, call me, call your uncle, whoever. Let me know. We'll work around your schedule. We could kick it. You will have fun. And I was just like, I bet. You know what I'm saying? He was like, he pretty much was like, I don't want to say it, but he pretty much like, fuck that man. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, by the end of the conversation, I kind of said it myself. I was like, yeah, fuck Janet Jackson. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, we going to Cali. Everybody was smiling, and it was all smiles, and that's what it was, you know. It was more to the conversation, but like I said, y'all have to read about that, you know, when my little book dropped. But the from word, because I remember everything word from word pretty much. So, and that's how we end up messing around and going to California. And he kept his word. When we went up there, like, he kept his word. And it was surprising. He was very humble, down to earth, and everything. And that day, I got off the phone with him. It was a little later, and I still got anything that I got from that man, from Tupac, I got to this day. And that shows what type of person I am. Because if this was about money, if this was about this, that, I done had the state reach out to me. I done had all types of people reach out to me because they like, oh, you got this, you got that, this and this and that. And I never sold none of his stuff because my loyalty rides with him. And I'm grateful that I was able to even cross paths with that man, let alone receiving any type of gifts or anything. And everything ain't always worth $1. You know what I mean? So that just shows the type of person I am. I still got his stuff. The first thing that I got from him, and that was on the year anniversary, May 21st, 1996 was my year anniversary, and I received a teddy bear, and it's a dog teddy bear that had like a little plaid. I'm trying to think, what was the dogs' names? I forgot, but it kind of looked like one of them popular dogs back in the day. But it was I got this dog, and then he gave me some roses, which I still got one of the roses, and I still got the card from him. You know, when you receive roses, the little card of what he had to say on there and stuff like that. I still have that. And so that was the first thing I ever got from Tupac, and that was my year anniversary of my me being in a wheelchair. A stuffed animal, a card, and some roses. And then that day though too, he asked me, he's like, hey, what's your size? He took he wanted to know my shoe size, and he wanted to know my clothes size, and everything, and I had gave him that. So I ended up getting, you know, down the line, I got more things, but like, yeah, he hooked me up on that day, and then by the time I got off the phone with him, I was ready to go to California, and I was ready to go outside. I wasn't staying in the house no more. I didn't write no more. I called people, hey, come get me over there. You know what I'm saying? But and that's another thing. When I was on the phone with him, it was one of my friends, Blackie, was at the crib. They was like in the front. She ended up coming over there while I was on the phone, during I was on the phone, just to come and visit. And she's like, who you talking? I said, this Tupac. And he even let me put him on hold. He even let me put him on hold and talk to my friend on the phone real quick. She's like, you lying, that ain't no Tupac, whatever, this and that. And she ended up getting on the phone or whatever like that. And he talked to her. He talked to her on the phone. That's how cool he was. And then gave the phone back. She was like, oh my goodness, like, damn, that's Tupac for real. And she went into, you know what I'm saying? And he was like, damn, I'm like, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's how cool he was.
So you get off the phone with Tupac, you come to LA. Give me a detailed account of how it was being in LA and spending time with Tupac. What is some of the stuff y'all did while you was in LA?
Okay, when I went to LA, okay, when we first went out there, the first day we ain't seen nobody. First day we got there, we was you know what I'm saying, got to our hotel, we was just chilling, doing our thing. I think we ended up seeing him probably like the third day. First time I seen him was probably like the third day because we did Hollywood first. Then we did I know we went to Disney. We did Hollywood and Disney before we seen him because I remember we had a conversation. I had a conversation with Pop because he had asked me, he's like, hey, where y'all, you know what I'm saying? Where did you, when we end up going to the studio, he asked, he's like, well, where y'all, you know, did y'all go here yet? Then we like, oh yeah, we already been there. We already did that. We already did that. So when we end up going, it was me, my mom, my stepdad, Big Will, may he rest in peace. Um 6ix9ine, one of Big Will, little bodyguard, you know, may he rest in peace. You gotta understand, we was from Chicago, you know what I'm saying? So Will was one of the board members. We gangsters. He was a board member. So he was the governor of the GDs where we was at. He was the governor. He had rank, and he was younger at the time or whatever. So he was the governor of the GDs. And see, this is where I think the connection was at when we went out there. We ain't go out there on no groupie type stuff and like, oh, everybody did everything. We went out there, we had our own pretty much everything. You know what I'm saying? They ride in Benzes, we had a Benz for rental. You get what I'm saying? Like everything was like we had our own money, had everything, and Pac realized that like we ain't come out there on no lame sucker ass shit because that's not who we was. So we end up going out there. We had him. Okay, it was Big Will, my mom, 6ix9ine. May he rest in peace too. Damn, everybody dead. May he rest in peace. I had my little brother with me. I had my little sister with me. They, you know, they was young at the time. I had my best friend Coco G with me. My brother, he was able to. He brought his little friend with him. Mind you, we paid for all them to come. What you call it? He had his little friend with him, and then that was it. So that was all of us that had came. We went out there. First time we seen Pac, we was in the studio. We had did some stuff or whatever. My Uncle Frank called us and was like, hey yeah, we gonna be at the studio today. So if y'all ain't got nothing to do, you know, today one of the days y'all can come and ride down on us. It's gonna be a few people in the studio. It's gonna be, you know, so, you know, Snoop already here or whatever like that. And he was like, so, you know, just ride down on us and stuff. So we was like, all right, cool, bet. When we get done doing what we do, we gonna go to the studio. They gave us the address, and that's when they was at what's that, Can-Am, right? Studios. So we end up going out there. I remember when we pulled up, and I ain't gonna lie, I did get a little nervous when we pulled up because I was like, dang, I'm really finna meet this next Pac man. And so, because when we pulled up, I'm thinking like he gonna be in the inside. They was actually outside in the parking lot. So it was him, my uncle, and a couple of other guys. I didn't know them. I didn't know who else was out there. You know, I ain't know nobody like that. Only people I know with Pac is like, you know, Pac, and then I can recognize the Outlaws and shit like that, but anybody else I really ain't know. So yeah, so they was standing outside. I remember he had all cream on. Oh my goodness, he had all cream on, and with this little jewelry and everything. And when I was outside, he was like, we pulled up and they were standing outside. I was like, damn, he outside. They go park right there. Like they literally outside just chilling. So I get out, you know, we get out the car or whatever, this, that. I had my little, I had like a little autograph. I did have my little autograph book with me. I took that everywhere I went. out there because I was like, when in LA, I was like, if I see whoever I see, I want an autograph, and I still got my autograph book. I got an autograph for everybody. So I went outside. I was like, dang, we get out the car, we smiling. My pops, my stepdad, he on the phone. You know, back then we had them brick phones. He on the phone taking care of business. As I always stayed on that damn phone. But yeah, he on the phone and he pulling up, everybody pulling up, and Pac like, Lemika, and he was like, yeah, and I was like, yeah, and he's like, and I was like, Uncle Frankie, hey, you know, I gave him a hug or whatever. Everybody gave him a hug. And he was like, what's up or whatever. And Pac was like, Lemika, and I was like, yeah. And then he was like, dang, he's like, you got a pretty smile, and I was like, thank you. That was the first thing he said to me, and he had gave me a hug or whatever, and he was like, I'm glad y'all made it. He said, so what's up? He said, y'all finna come inside? And we was like, yeah. So, you know, we took a couple of pictures in the parking lot. I think y'all seen some of them. That's the one with me, and I had his arm was wrapped around me. That was the first picture we took. And we took that picture in the parking lot, and then we rolled up in the studio. I mean, we rolled up in the studio. Snoop, um, Snoop's studio was before his. His, yeah, Snoop little studio part was before his. Pox was after. And I remember Danny Boy from the Shop. So I remember Danny Boy, he was in there. He was young then, you know. He was in the hallway. I remember I think he had like red shorts on with his Dwayne Wayne glasses on or whatever. And I remember Danny Boy. I was like, dang, that's Danny Boy. Not expecting to see all these people up in there. So I was like, dang. Snoop, he had his oldest son with him. What's his name? They called him Spanky. They called his nickname was Spanky. So he had Spank. He had his dog. He had this cream dog with him. I forgot what that dog name was, but yeah, he had his pit bull with him, Spank, and like probably one other person in the studio. His studio was real calm and cool, like and laid back. Nobody was really up in there. Snoop was up in there doing his little thing. He tipped his head off away to say hey and whatever, but we continued to go where we was going. But in the middle, you know, after a while when we was all in there, everybody was vibing in and out and, you know, each other's studios and stuff like that. But like, yeah, we ended up going to, Pac ended up introducing me to, you know, everybody's like, okay, that's in the third. We ended up going to Pac studio. We get in Pac studio jumping. I mean, like the outlaws, they sitting on these couches in the back or whatever, smoking their little weed everywhere, you know what I'm saying? Snoop right there. Somebody, it was like a cameraman in there. I mean, not Snoop, Pac right there, cameraman in there. I know it was the Outlaws in there. A lot of people was going in and out his studio. Danny Boy was in there. Corrupt. He was even chilling in Pac's studio or whatever like that. So yeah, so I remember we was up in yeah. We was up in there. So when we was up in there, everybody was just rhyming, you know, writing, smoking, they drinking, you know, the Hennessy, they had the Alizé, they had the, you know, like it was, but one thing about it, everybody was in there working, everybody had their notebook pad or whatever, that, doing this. There was like all these different beats and stuff going on and blah blah blah. You know what I'm saying? So we was in and out. It was so smoky in there though, and it's funny because my mom she don't smoke weed, she don't drink or nothing. So it was funny seeing her because her eyes, you see the eyes getting low because you definitely got a contact in that bitch because there was so much weed going around. So yeah, and he was just coming up. They was working on. I remember the first song that he was. They was working on the I think was it the Machiavelli Alley? No, yeah, I think it was the Machiavelli Alley. I mean the Machiavelli album. I know they was doing. I know he was working on that song. My only fear of death is reincarnation. I use my last breath to reach the whole nation. How can you call it murder rush? But he was. I know that's what he was working on when we went up in there. That song right there, and everybody was just vibing high as fuck. And I vibed with Corrupt. I remember Spanky. Snoop ended up coming up in there. I remember Spanky was in there. I was holding him. or whatever like that. He was so cute, little fat chunky, but he was so cute. And then with the dog, we took some pictures like in the hallway. We was able to, we was going in and out the hallway and stuff. Um, and I remember he was like, "Is y'all hungry?" He had ordered some food. We like, "Shit, is what you?" And just being who we was, we like, "Shit, you hungry? You want us to put on anything?" Like, you know what I'm saying? And he had the white boy getting all the. I don't know if I should say that or not. I don't know, but he had the white boy taking the orders, getting us the food and stuff. And you will see it on the videotape. The one who he said, "What's that on your arm? Two egg rolls or whatever." When Pac started rolling him, he's quite a comedian too, y'all. I just want to put that out there. When he was riding on everybody. And I remember he tried to ride on me one time, and I had said something to him about, "I know you ain't talking," because his ankles was a little ashy, y'all. Look, it's okay because he still was sexy and fine or whatever, but his ankles was a little ashy. He had said something, and I was just like, "I know you ain't talking when you," because I remember he had the loafers on and he had no socks on. And his ankles was a little ashy. And I was like, "With your old ashy ankles?" And he looked at me and he started cracking up laughing. He was like, "All right, I like you. I like you." You know what I'm saying? So I was like, "Okay, yeah, I like you too." But right, I'm not the joke. You know what I mean? So I had to make that clear. And I remember he had ordered some pizza and he had ordered some Carl's Jr. He had a Star Burger, like he had him a Star Burger. He loved Star Burger, so he had him a Carl's Jr. Some people up in there had In and Out. Everybody was like, In and Out is the place to eat and do this and stuff. But he was like, "Shit, I like Carl's Jr." You know what I'm saying? So I was like, "Yeah." And so it was just all types of, different stuff going on. And then I remember when what's his name? Charlie Wilson. Charlie Wilson ended up coming up in there, and he was like from the Gap Band, and he was like, "God damn, my nigga, Charlie Wilson." He was like, I don't know if it was a surprise or what, but he ended up going up in there, and they ended up making a beat and doing a little song or whatever, giving each other pound and stuff. And see, my mama, her being older, she's like, "You know what it is?" I didn't know who Charlie Wilson was at the time. So, Snoop, kind of like he put him on the map. He put him back on the map, you know what I'm saying, with the rap game in a younger generation. So I didn't know who he was, but my mama knew who he was right off bat or whatever. Like, "That's Charlie Wilson." And I was like, "Oh, okay, still ain't know." Um, but now, as big as he is now, or whatever, it was an honor to meet an icon like that too. We was in the facility with nothing but greats, for sure, nothing but greats. Um, but yeah, Rage was in there. Rage was in the studio. Rage was in the studio. All the Outlaws was in there. Gaddafi, Napoleon, all the Outlaws and stuff was up in there. They was real cool. I mean, everybody was cool, Joe. You would have thought like we knew each other, like we was kicking it with them, like we was kicking it. I felt like I was kicking it like with my niggas back home. You know what I'm saying? Like for real, and that's how it was. And everybody is, and that was that. Like in the studio, I don't know what else to say. I mean, there's a few other things that went on. You know what I'm saying? But
So that's the story behind the video that's online of you and Tupac in the studio. What are some of the other things y'all did when you was in LA chilling with Tupac?
okay, so outside of that, he called us. We definitely talked on the phone a few times. You know what I'm saying? Just to link up and stuff like that. He asked us what we was doing the next day, and in the studio, that's when he gave me his license too. We was in the studio. They was about to be expired, and or whatever. Anyway, on his birthday was coming up or whatever, so they was about to be expired anyway. So he was like, "Look," he's like, "I want you to have these." You know what I'm saying? Because I was like, "Well, what's that?" And he was like, "It's license." He's like, "I want you to have these." And I was like, "Why you giving me these?" He said, "You don't ask nobody, um, why were you giving this something?" He said, "It's something that you can have." He said, "You better keep them." And I was like, "I'll keep them for life." I was like, you know what I'm saying? Which, those got taken from me. You know what I mean? The from the police. Got proof about that too. But that's something that you will learn about later on too. We're gonna research on that. It's not what that interview about. But like, yeah, he was like, "You keep these. You better keep these for life." You know what I'm saying? I was like, "For life," And one thing he was telling me His favorite thing that he used to say to me after after we met and stuff and joking around and doing everything, he was like, "Yo, I got you till your wheels fall off." I even got that in my the autograph that he wrote from the autograph that he signed for me, and that's what he said. I got you your back until the wheels fall off, and that was our little personal saying with each other. And I'm like, I bet, you know what I'm saying, for sure. And so yeah, so the other things that we had did, I remember okay, the next place that he had invited me to was um the Gridlock there. It was a day that we was out there and we didn't really had too much to do. We didn't have shit to do. And he was like, I ended up calling him and I was like, yo, what you want? Or whatever. I was like, we up in here, you know, boy, we ain't got too much stuff to do. We was hanging out at the hotel today. I was just calling to see what you want. And he was like, all right, there. He said, shit, we up here. He's like, I'm making a movie. I got to do Gridlock. I don't know. I think he did that for like some charity or something. I don't think that was something that he just actually picked. If I can recall, I remember he was saying something like that. I don't think that was a movie that he actually picked to I don't know if it was charity, community service, something. I don't know. It was something like that. It wasn't like his like a role that he was out there. Oh, I want to do this, but he did it, and he did it good too. To perfection, to the best of his ability. But yeah, he wasn't all excited about that Gridlock role. So you know what I mean. So he was like, he shot us the address. He's like, what I tell you, you know what I'm saying? He's like, come up here. So I was like, all right, cool. And all this time, what y'all need to realize, all this time while we up there, this not my uncle calling me, inviting me places, and let's do this and this. This is this man. This is Tupac Shakur calling my phone or answering his phone and like, all right, bet he got an address. Come here, come here, come here. You know what I'm saying? So that's just the type of person he is, because he ain't, right off bat, the man treated me like family. You know what I'm saying? He's very humble, down to earth, cool. Like you would have thought that we known each other for all our life, and we did it. So now we like, all right. So I got off the phone with him. I said, hey, y'all want to go into the crib like that? My family and them, they like, hell yeah, shit, or whatever. He's like, that's where they at. He said that we could come. I said, yeah. He said we could come. He said there's food and everything up there. Just come. And I was like, all right. We like, all right, cool, because that was another thing, right? On the phone, I was telling him like, all right, we'll go get something to eat or whatever, and then we'll be up there. And that's another thing. He was like, nah, just come up here, man. He's like, we don't say there's food and everything, or y'all get what y'all want when y'all up here, whatever. Woo, woo, just come through. So we was like, all right, we gonna come through. So my mom and them, all of us, we got dressed, got in the car or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Me, my homie, my girl, and 6ix9ine. My mama and my stepdad, they ain't blow no weed or something like that. But like we did, you know what I'm saying? We had our own little shit. So we had blew back, went up to the Gridlock. I forgot exactly where it was at, but I know that was in LA too somewhere. So we went up there, pulled up to Gridlock, um, pull up to the set or whatever. He was working. So he was doing the corner. I seen him running down the alleyway. Him and the white dude from Pulp Fiction. I don't know his name. I'm not good at names, y'all. I apologize for that. But the white dude from Pulp Fiction, the other star that was in the movie with him, that he was committing the crimes and shit with in that movie. So they was running from the thing. So we just chilling, and all you see is a whole bunch of trailers there. The camera crew, whatever, this and that. They had a trailer with like sandwiches and stuff and cookies and cheese and all this other kind of stuff. I wasn't hungry yet, so we like go there and eat right away. But we let him watch him work or whatever, this and that. And so after he was done with that scene, he came over there. He had like a brown button-up shirt on, but it was like halfway unbuttoned or whatever. After he was done with the little scene, like running towards the thing, in the alley and all this other kind of stuff, and when he noticed that we was there already, he came straight over there to me. And he was like, oh, what's up? So y'all came through. That's what's up. That's what's up. And he gave me a hug and everything. And then that's when Greg Nice, I believe Greg Nice was a part of the movie too, but I know he was on the set. That's when Greg Nice was over there, and he was like Tupac like signal waved him like, hey, hey y'all, hey, come in, come meet somebody. And he was like, oh yeah, this what you call it? This Mika, you know what I'm saying? Whatever, Frank niece, whatever, this, that. This her family, whatever. Greg Nice, he had, gave me a pound, gave me a hug or whatever. Everybody, gave hugs and stuff. It wasn't like no handshake and stuff. And you gotta remember, I had my little brother there, he had his little friend there, they were shorties at the time, my little sister there and stuff like that. So the kids was kinda bored. So he was like, hey, what y'all wanna do? You know what I'm saying? He said, what y'all trying to do or whatever, because we're gonna be here for a few hours or whatever. And one thing about him too, that man always working. And I can't remember what he said, but I know he was like, I was like, dang, you always working, and he has said something to the essence. It probably will come back to me. I know I wrote about it or whatever, but I can't think of it right now. But it was something that he used to say all the time. With the work thing, um, that's just that's just was him. He stayed busy. He stayed working. Whatever he did, he was on the clock and getting money for sure, and he made sure of that. So even if he kicking it, whatever, he was getting money. He was making sure he was working. Everything was work to him. But so he introduced us to Greg Ness and everything like that. He asked us what the kids wanted to do or whatever, because they was kind of bored or whatever. So I remember my stepdad was like, "Hey, my little brother was like, he wanted to play some basketball," and my stepdad was like, "You don't know nothing about no ballpark. You don't want to get on this court with us or whatever. This and this that." He said, "Get on the court." He said, "Man, what you talking about? I know everything about ball." He's like, "All right, bet." Do you know this man ended up ordering? He had somebody put up a basketball rim. He ended up getting the basketball rim, brought down to the set, brought up a basketball rim, and he said, "All right, after we get done with, when he get done doing the stuff, because he was back and forth. When he get done doing whatever, he said, I'm gonna play y'all in the game. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna have a little 1-on-1 and keep that same energy, basically. Keep talking that shit that you talking. I'm gonna be ready in a sec or whatever like that." And they like, "All right, bet." They just talking shit to each other. My step pops and Pac and stuff. And then, my Uncle Frank was down there, they was laughing and everything. And my Uncle Frank was like, "Pac got game. He got game. He know how to play ball. Yeah, he know how to play ball." And 6'9", 6'9" was talking hella shit, with the name 6'9", you already know he's 6'9". You know what I'm saying? That's how he got his name, because he was so tall. So talking to 6'9", 6'9" is like, "Oh, you don't want to see me." You know what I'm saying? I can reach the rim. You know what I'm saying? I'm ducking on everybody. So that was a little fun thing afterwards. They end up, watching that game and stuff or whatever, this and that on the set. So you know what I'm saying? That's like, this is shit that we're doing on the set. And then another thing, who else was there was that lady, Sally. What's her name? I know she was in this trailer.
Sally Richardson.
Yep, she was there. Sally Richardson was on there too. I met her. She was up in this. She was in Pac trailer, or whatever. I don't know if they was together or not or whatever, but yeah, stuff like that. She was in Pac trailer, and then who else was on the set? I know Greg Nice was on the set. White dude from Pulp Fiction. Sally Richardson. Um, who else was over there? I can't remember everybody. But like, yeah, so, he was on there acting, doing his thing. We was out there chilling. We ended up playing basketball. I ended up getting cold a little bit. And you got to understand, I know it was LA. It's hot out there. It's in the middle of the summer. I was still a little chilly because we was like in a shaded area. I was still a little chilly because one thing about it, I'm anemic because, my blood don't circulate like everybody about to sit down. So he ended up giving me a blanket out his trailer, which I still got it. And there was a stain. It was like a red Kool-Aid stain, something like that, juice stain in the blanket or whatever like that. And I was like, "Oh, what's this?" Like, I didn't want the blanket because he gave me the blanket, and then I see the stain. I was like, "Oh, what's this?" I don't want. He said, "Do you want the blanket or not?" Like, "Girl, you better take that blanket." Like, he was funny like that. Like, like, "You better take that blanket or your ass gonna be cold." That's basically what he said to me. So I had to take the blanket, but it was long enough that I put the stain at the bottom. Like the stain didn't touch me. I turned the blanket around for the stain to be on the bottom of the blanket, to be on the floor and everything on there, because he wasn't giving me no more blanket. He's like, "Look, your ass better take that blanket or your ass gonna be out here cold or whatever. And that's what it said to me. And I was cracking up laughing. I was like, all right, whatever, huh? You know what I'm saying? So shit, I did what I did. I was like, shit, I took this blanket. I was like, I ain't gonna be cold. And yeah, I remember he ended up changing his clothes. I think he had like a Georgetown or something. But was that a Nike tracksuit? He ended up changing his clothes after the set and everything or whatever. This and that. And he played ball. He played ball. He played ball with him or whatever. So yeah.
I want to backtrack a little. You said you seen Sally Richardson in Tupac trailer when you was on the set of Gridlock. If you don't mind, can you go more into detail about that?
Uh, that ain't my business.
No, the
You
reason why
just
I'm
said,
asking you that because it's pretty much out there. I mean, as far as
all right, well, you said it, not me. She was in the trailer.
right, what was she doing? She was just in the trailer, or
Yeah, she was in the trailer. She was just chilling or whatever. She really wasn't, you know what I'm saying? They was, he was in and out the trailer, and I know that she was in the trailer that he was in. She ain't really come out like that.
right, right. So they wasn't intimate or anything in the trailer.
I wasn't in this trailer. She was in the trailer. I was outside the trailer.
Right, right. I got you. So, you was in the studio with Tupac. You was on the set of Gridlock while Tupac was doing that movie. What is some of the other stuff you did with Tupac while you was in LA?
Okay, and then it was one time that we just chilled. You know what I'm saying? Everybody was just chilling, and then later on that night, um, him, Pac, my stepdad, 6ix9ine, and my uncle, they went to they went out. You know what I'm saying? They went out to like, the clubs or whatever, this and this and that. But we end up he ended up I can't remember. He ended up taking us to this barbecue place. I forgot what it was, but it was like, I guess it was the is you do you live in LA?
No, no. I live in Houston. I'm born and raised in Houston.
Oh, okay. So it was this known barbecue place that's in California or whatever. And I remember they did have some good like homemade rolls or something. They rolls was really good, but he took us to this barbecue place because he was like, "Oh, you gotta taste these ribs. You gotta taste these ribs." Because we was talking about, we was talking about the food. Being from Chicago, I swear to God, it seems like we got some of the best food ever, around the map. To me, you know what I'm saying? So when we was up there, all the hype of all these restaurants and food like In and Out and um, Carl's um, Junior and all these places that they were saying to go, like, it wasn't good to me. You know what I'm saying? So it wasn't good how they was trying to say how it was good. Oh, you gotta try this. Oh, you gotta try this. Oh, you gotta try this. So he was telling us, oh, you gotta try these ribs. You gotta try these ribs or whatever. Because I was talking about, oh, you need to try Leon's, and then we were talking about Harold's Chicken and this, and that. So when we got on the barbecue, he ended up taking us to this one barbecue joint or whatever. And we all went out there and just went out to eat and everything at this one barbecue joint. And it was pretty. It wasn't like the shop, but it was pretty good. It was pretty good, and the rolls kind of remind me of my grandma homemade yeast rolls. So I had gave him a 10 on that one. I was like, all right, this is a good spot. Like, you know what I'm saying? I like this spot, but I can't remember what it was. But if anybody from California know that spot, let me know. Because if I go visit again, I might have to ride that on them because they had some pretty good bread or whatever. So we did that, and then like I said, I know they had went out. So we end up getting up with him like a total of 4 times out of the whole time we was there. So it was like, yeah, it was like a total of 4 times. Like physically that we was able to see and, stay or whatever. Because a couple other times, like I said, we had other things that was, no. Because we ended up going by my uncle Frankie house too. And my uncle Frankie had his house where he had the ranch because he had these horses, and we met up over there too. But that was brief. That was brief. But we did see him over there too, or whatever. But it was a couple of times that we ended up hanging out with my uncle um by ourselves too because Pac had a couple of things that he had to do or whatever, and this and that. So yeah, we was out there for like we seen him like a couple, like about 4 or 5 times out of 2 weeks. So that was good. But like 4 days, we literally hung like the whole day pretty much with him, at least most of the days, and was just chilling.
What are some of the conversations you had with Tupac while you was in LA?
Okay, I know one of the comment. I don't know. Like we'd be. It's kind of hard to explain. I guess like joking, riding on each other and stuff like that. And then he was asking like, he wanted to know. He knew, like I said, he was asking like, what is some of the stuff we was doing and what we did and everything and this and that. And then he was tripping on us because back in the day, we was younger then. You know what I'm saying? We was younger. Everything all on the G and this and that. And when he let me, like in the studio, one of the things in the studio, he let me in the studio when he let me on the track at the end or whatever. I said, shit, sent a shout out and rap my set. I was like, oh, this for the GDs and L's and HP, whatever. Woo, woo. And he was like, look at you talking about, let me get on the mic. And here you go, this for the GD, da da da. He was making fun of me on that. And then he was like, I know another thing, back at home, we was on the verge of opening up like a nightclub. So we was opening up at this nightclub in the suburbs, and we wanted him to bless, you know what I'm saying, our club. We was like, if we open it and on our grand opening, would you come down and be a guest, for we could, to kind of be like a celebrity, the first celebrity guest or whatever, for we could, pull in, have a good successful grand opening and everything like that. And he was like, yeah, that's dope. You know what I'm saying? He was like, black owned businesses trying to do y'all thing and be legit. And he liked what we was talking about, what my stepdad was talking about, us putting out, collaborating with each other or whatever like that. And I was like, and then that'll be, that's exposure for us. And it was just like a few businesses adventures that we wanted to kind of connect on and come together and try to make successful and happen. And he was down. He was like, yo, that sound. He was like, let us know. Let me know when you get it up. Let us know the plan and everything when you get it up and when everything is in the making, sign, seal, deliver. He was like, and hell yeah, I come down there and bless that. He's like, hell yeah, I come down there and chill out or whatever. He said, you got my number. He gave me his cell phone number. So I literally had that man number. Like I was able to call him and he would pick up the phone. I had that number and I also had the studio number. And I was able to he was able to pick up and talk and stuff like that. He checked on me after I was there and everything because he actually was going to fly us back up there because he was supposed to be having he was going to have like some type of party or something the following summer. He said for his birthday or whatever. And I was like, shit, I'll be a little older, whatever too. You know what I'm saying? So he actually was going to fly us back up there to chill with him and stuff like the next summer. He was like, hell yeah. He's like, you can come every summer if you want. He's like, you real cool. One thing about it, he said he loved my smile. He loved my energy. He's like, you real cool. And he was like, I was very mature, for my age and way ahead of my time. He liked the way that we conducted ourselves, conducted business, and wasn't like no annoying nagging thing. He was like, yeah, he's like, y'all some real genuine people. And I was just being myself. And I think what he liked the most was like when we was joking, because I'm a joker too, when he was joking and we was joking on each other, right, busting on each other and busting on people in the rooms and things like that. It was just a whole vibe. Like I said, you would have thought like these niggas was from the, some of my niggas from the streets or whatever like that. It was real fun. Like he was cracking up laughing when I said something about his ankles and shit. He looked down at his ankles like, he's like, it just started cracking up laughing and he hit me. Like, you know what I'm saying? He gave me a hit. He was like, or whatever. He's like, but I can get some lotion though. I can get some lotion though. Like, you know what I'm saying? He was talking like that. You know what I'm saying? And grabbing the lotion when he was in the thing and rubbing it on his ankles and shit. Like, rubbing it, putting it on his leg or whatever like that. That was funny. Like, you don't see people like that. You think, and then another thing about him, oh my God, that man has some good ass skin too. Because you would think like all this is makeup, this is that, and this is that. That man ain't wearing no, he didn't have like no makeup on, no nothing. Like when we went to the studio, that man had no makeup on, no nothing. And I was just like, a lot of these celebrities walk around with all this makeup and stuff on, and you'll be surprised because they be like, man, with all this makeup and stuff on, and you'll be surprised. But that he was just what you see is what you get with him, and what you saw is what you got with me. And he was like, I made a good choice. If I had to do it all over again, I would have kept and stayed with him to see him again because I had a really, really fun time. I had a fun time. My family had a fun time. He made sure everybody was comfortable. He made sure everybody was entertained. He made sure everything was like, he kept asking me. You cool? You cool? You good? You good? You good? Cool? Even when he was working, when he was doing something, he'd come out there. You good? You good? Did you eat? You good? You cool? And I'm just like, yeah, I'm good. I'm cool. He's like, got you till your wheels fall off. We like the show.
Did Tupac tell you anything revealing about his personal life and what he was going through at the time? For example, when you told me earlier that Tupac really didn't want to do Gridlock, but he had to do it because of the situation he was in. So I was just curious and wondering, did Tupac tell you anything revealing about what he was going through at the time in his personal life?
I'm not understanding your question. Like, I mean, I understand it, but like,
I mean, because he was going through a lot at that time. He was on death row. He was shooting movies, working on albums. Rumors was going around that he wasn't happy on death row. Just a whole lot of stuff was just going on. So I was just
oh
wondering.
yeah, he definitely was keeping himself busy. I know one thing he always said. That's why I said I got it. One thing he was always talking about is like, whatever I'm doing, I got to get paid. I'm getting paid. Whatever I'm doing, I'm getting paid. You could tell whatever he was in, or whoever if he owed anybody or whatever he was trying to do, he definitely was trying to get out of whatever situation he was in. That's why I said everything was like work, 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 work with him. He did not stop because, he needed to. He wasn't. You know what I'm saying? How you could tell he wasn't at peace. He was having fun. You know what I'm saying? He was chilling and being funny with us and everything like that. But you definitely could tell that he was fighting some demons and he wasn't at peace, for sure. Like he kept himself busy, kept himself working. He got to be on the clock all the time. He's not doing nothing if he's not getting paid because he got to. You know what I'm saying? He was chasing that dollar to get out of whatever situation that he was in.